This is a crazy time right now for the gaming industry. Everything is changing, everything is going up in the air, which is odd because this is not the beginning of a new generation, at least for the major players like Xbox and PlayStation. I mean, it is for Nintendo, but the fact that Nintendo's raising their prices, PlayStation's raising their prices, and Microsoft is raising their prices on all their consoles is kind of a shocking change of events here. I was not going to predict that that Xbox was going to raise their prices. However, it is not surprising. The elephant in the room is that GTA 6 is on the horizon, and I'm sure that Xbox is very well aware that Rockstar is only going to release this game on PlayStation and Xbox at launch. I would be shocked if it comes out on PC. It'd be great. I'd love it. I want it to be on as many platforms as possible. I'd love to see it on the Switch too, but I'm skeptical. So I'd rather kind of say, well, it's probably just going to be on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S consoles. Meaning that Xbox has positioned itself to know that a lot of people are going to rush out and go buy PlayStations. They've been waiting for this game to get a PS5 because it's not on PS4. So you're going to have to upgrade to 5 in order to play this game. Xbox knows this. They're very smart. And so I'm sure that they're going to have a similar situation like with what happened in 2020 on their hands, which is PlayStation's just going to probably sell out. The Pros and the 5s are just going to be gone. That's going to be it probably for a little while. There's going to be probably about a good 2-3 weeks in there that PlayStations are going to be impossible to find. And Xbox knows, well, we've got the game. You want to play Grand Theft Auto 6, the biggest game on the planet? Well, you can buy an Xbox. You play right now. And I'm sure that they know that they're going to recoup maybe a little bit of those costs of the, the stagnant sales, at least as of right now. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I'm not really thinking too much is going to happen with this. I think this will probably unfortunately be the beginning of the end, or the end of Xbox as we know it. I love my original Xbox. I loved my 360, and I hate seeing the direction that they're going right now. It's I just get a PC at this point. Unfortunately, there's really no reason to buy an Xbox. But anyway, besides that, let's shift gears to Nintendo. With their game key cards. Everyone is constantly talking about these game key cards. I can't believe that this is still a topic of debate and discussion. It seems pretty straightforward. Once again, I feel like I'm going to give a pretty level-headed, opinion on this thing. The big panic that's going on right now is that everyone's saying that all third-party games releasing in Japan right now are game key cards, which I can confirm from everything that I have seen, which is not much, because Japan is, for some reason, really locked down on the Switch 2 right now. For those of you that are not out here, I've been to a few of the major retailers since the Switch 2 has been announced. They offer no information, no pre-order on accessories. It's almost like the Switch 2 is not even coming out. I went to a Big Camera, I went to a Yamada, and I went to our local game store actually out here. Two of them I went to in Fukuoka City. All they have is a one-sheet poster near the register with a picture of the Switch 2, and it says, you can join our lottery, and that's it. There's no accessory pre-orders. They don't even have the new Amiibo pre-orders out. Everything is like locked up by Nintendo. Which even myself, like I pre-ordered a console through Best Buy. I'm gonna have it shipped out to me by my lovely mother. Thank you very much for helping me out with that, because it's a hellscape out here in Japan trying to get a Switch 2. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'm just gonna pre-order the console, and I'm gonna pre-order Mario Kart physically, right? So I'll have both of those shipped to me, and the rest of the accessories I'll just buy out here in Japan. And it's like, yeah, fat chance, dude. Like, no way. Like, I went on Amazon. I went on Nintendo's website. I've been to a few places because I want to get a Pro Controller. I want a micro SD card express, which I would prefer call me stupid, but I really want the Nintendo branded one with the little Mario logo on them because I kind of collected those SD cards in the Switch days. I have all of them. They're all really, really cute. The Animal Crossing one is my favorite. So I kind of just wanted to get that. That's not available out here at all. And all of the accessories are under lock and key by Nintendo. At least the official first-party accessories. And I was like, what's the deal with this? Why is this the case? They are exclusively selling all accessories to only people that have pre-orders through Nintendo. Meaning that, like, if you got a pre-order through Big Camera or somebody else, like you just win one of those lotteries, I don't know if you just got to pick that up day one, or are they going to offer you those bonuses there? I don't, it's so confusing. Because like somebody like me, I have a pre-order. It's just in the United States. But I want a few of these accessories that you're selling, but Nintendo doesn't want to sell them to me. They're just like, no, you didn't win a lottery, so you don't even get a chance to buy any of this stuff. And it just, once again, it just brings back the thing of the lottery. I hate the damn lottery, man. I'm so sick of the lottery crap. I'm not about it. Not about it at all. But anyway, as far as the game key cards are concerned, I have seen that most of the games seem to be key card like models. However, this is my opinion on the game key card thing. If you remember, at the beginning of the Nintendo Switch life cycle, publishers were very skeptical of the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo had to, like, I'm sure, beg publishers like EA and Activision to be like, please, just put a couple of games on there. And they reluctantly put FIFA on there. They reluctantly put a couple of other things on there, and it was pretty... But you could kind of tell that they were 1 foot in and 1 foot out. They weren't completely sold on the console. And I guarantee you that's what we've got going on right here, right now as well. Everybody's going to do the safe bet with the game key cards until the sales are good and people start buying the games, and then all of a sudden everything is going to be like legitimate, cartridges again. I'm betting that's what's going to happen. Because it seems to be up to the publisher whether or not the whole game is on that cartridge or not. I mean, look at CD Projekt Red. They're the most famous example of a third party doing it. Even though the Cyberpunk version out here, as of the time of this recording, is a game key card, I believe. I don't think that one is all on the cartridge either. I think that's only in the West that they're getting that. It could, like I said, it's tough to tell out here in Japan because they're so, like, lock and key. Like, there's no displays in stores. There's no box art to look at. Like, there is nothing. Like, there ain't nothing to look at out here. It's wild. Like, because you figure, a huge console is coming out next month. Oh, they might put out some game boxes. They might put out some accessory boxes just to give you an idea of the crap they got coming out. It's like nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I do believe that Cyberpunk is also a game key card out here. I think it possibly is. But once again, I think once trust builds in the platform and Nintendo can point to a large user base and says, look, we've got 20 million people now that own the Nintendo Switch 2. This is clearly the future of the company. Go ahead and just put this on the cartridges. I'm sure that it'll be fine. But also, don't let Nintendo off the hook here. They need to make different size cartridges available to those publishers. They can't just sell them only the 65 gigabyte cartridge. You got to sell the 32 and the 16 and maybe even the 8. Sell them smaller sizes as well, right? Don't force them into giving up so much of their profit margin, even if their game is only like, 6 or 7 gigabytes. Like, I can't believe that Bravely Default for the Switch 2 is a file larger than 12 gigs. There's just no way. There's no way that that game is that big. So it just is a whole bunch of waste of space on that cartridge, which is, I'm sure, why they're doing the key card route. But anyway, another complaint that I kind of have with the size of some of these things is the micro SD card express. With all of these games being like game key cards and download only options, you would think that they would have given us a couple of different sizes of those micro SD card expresses to put into the console. And as far as I can tell, the first party like SanDisk approved or Nintendo approved SanDisk model is like only 256. That's like the only one that they're selling. There's no like 500 plus or 1 terabyte. I figured that they'd have the 1 terabyte or at least the 500, because the 500 is the one that I wanted to buy. With the internal and that 500, that'd be perfect, because obviously the game, file sizes are going to be bigger since Nintendo is stepping into 4K. So it's surprising to me that they aren't. I don't know. They're not pushing bigger cards. Now, once again, this may be something that they're going to wait on, or we may be getting these things next year. Who knows? But at least out here in Japan, I am having an extremely difficult time finding micro SD card expresses. I can see some of them on Best Buy's website and on like the US site for Amazon, but when I go on Amazon JP or even like in stores out here, I don't see any express cards. At least I'm not seeing them. They may be out here, but in Kyushu, I'm not spotting them. So hopefully those will be more readily available after the Switch comes out, and there'll just be a big push to sell those cards from other companies, because you've got to be really careful buying stuff out here. There's a lot of like really cheap Chinese crap that's out here. I've fallen into this once or twice before with like memory cards. I was like, oh, look, on Amazon JP, there's a great little card for, 500 something gigabytes. I'll just buy that. And you get it in the mail and you think it's SanDisk, but it's not in like an official package. It's just kind of like in a Ziploc bag. And you're like, what the hell is this? And you're like, oh no. And you look at the seller, and the seller's like a Chinese name. And you're just like, oh boy, this is not legitimate. So you've really got to be careful buying stuff out here, because you never know what you're going to get. Like for us, China's right next door, and I'm sure it's easy for them just to funnel a bunch of crap through Amazon over here. And unfortunately, you think you're buying one thing and you're actually getting something else. So hopefully in store, it'll be a lot easier to buy them. If not, I may have to import one from Amazon US or something. I don't know. I have to figure something out with that. But moving on to one of the things I'm very optimistic about is the Pro Controller. The Pro Controller looks absolutely amazing. I was a huge fan of the Pro Controller of the first Switch. I started actually collecting all of the special edition ones. I had a regular one. I think I had every single color and painted one officially given out by Nintendo, with the exception of the very first one, which was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That was impossible to find in Hawaii. You're never going to find that one. I'm really excited to think about what the options could be for special editions for the Switch 2 Pro Controller. I already love the two-tone kind of color look that they got going on right there. I would love to see a special edition for Metroid Prime 4. I know that's probably not going to happen. We probably won't see one until maybe, I don't know, this Christmas or beyond. And who knows what that's going to be. But I'm going to keep my eyes open definitely to see, what they're going to add for that. Speaking of controllers, I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen with the GameCube controller that My Nintendo is going to sell exclusively, I think. Some of those controllers have gone on sale out here. Like I've seen like the NES dual pack controllers that My Nintendo sold. They sell those actually at my local GameStop, or not GameStop, but Game Shop out here. I don't see the Nintendo 64 controllers or the Super Nintendo controllers, but it would be great if they would just mass sell those GameCube controllers for just like a year or two. Just make them really easy to get for like a year or two. I'd probably buy like 2 or 3 of them. Leave 2 in the box and then actually play with one. But I'm going to try to do a midnight grab of that as well in the US, because I have to do it in the US. I can't do it out here in Japan. But hopefully that won't be that hard to find. But anyway, moving on to what else has been going on. Grand Theft Auto has, of course, been delayed, which we all kind of saw coming. I was optimistic. They said, 2025. So I was like, I'll just take them at their word until they say otherwise. But of course, it is now not coming out, which messes up my whole most anticipated games of the year video. But whatever, what can you do about it? I'm not worried about it. I guess as of right now, Metroid Prime 4 is my number one most anticipated. So I'm excited for GTA 6. If they want to take more time on it, that's fine. But I don't know. Rockstar's kind of been in some hot water with myself, and I know a lot of people out there, right? Like recently. Like the last game they really put out and pushed heavily was the Definitive Edition trilogy, and that was just terrible. That's still a mess. And so it's like, well, Rockstar, they don't want to push GTA 6, but they're willing to push out that Definitive Edition thing that they did. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what's that about? They're averaging at like one game a generation now, which is not a good track record considering that, in the PlayStation 2 time frame, they had 3. Granted, I know everything now is going to be 4K, 60, and Ultra HD and all that kind of stuff. I get it. It's going to take longer to make. But I kind of miss the old days of gaming when maybe the graphics didn't look as good, but at least they came out on a regular basis and it wasn't like a once in a generation kind of, release schedule. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now I'm thinking it's probably not even going to come out until 2028, but you know what? Whatever, guys. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm sure Nintendo's ecstatic about it. I'm sure they're very excited because I'm sure they're like, well, we don't want to compete with that this holiday season. And now they're not going to have to. So they're going to pretty much be, running unopposed this holiday season, it looks like. They got a brand new console, bunch of brand new games. And speaking of that, there have been rumors going around that there's going to be a new Nintendo Direct in June, which I kind of agree with. I could see them totally doing that. Something towards the end of the month. Probably to get people more hyped up about the new games that are coming out. We still don't have any more footage for Kirby Air Riders, and we don't have a release date for it either. And we don't have a release date for Metroid Prime 4. And we don't have dates for a lot of things beyond Donkey Kong. Plus, I feel like we're going to get maybe one more announcement, for the rest of the year. I just have a hard time believing that the only holiday titles for the first year of the Switch is Pokemon ZA, which is cross-gen, and that Hyrule Warriors. It's like, really? It's like Hyrule Warriors? That's your big holiday thing? It's hard to imagine. It's the first year of the Switch, too, and we get no Mario. It's just kind of, we got Mario Kart, but I don't know, We'll see, though. I'm really looking forward to what other software is coming out for this, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm optimistic that there's a couple of more things up their sleeve that they have not told us about. Probably ports or things like that. Please, 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 Yoshi's Woolly World. I want it so bad. Please. Yoshi's Woolly World. I'm dying for that game. Please. Also, recently, Nintendo updated the eShop as well as the Nintendo Switch 1 to add the virtual game card thing, which I was kind of excited about that, except until I realized that this is primarily a feature for the Switch 2. It's not even really anything. You can't really do anything with it right now with just the regular Switch, so there's really nothing to I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. You can't game share, you can't do anything like that quite yet. I guess you could trade them, but they've got to be members of your Nintendo Switch Online family. So I can't lend them wirelessly to my buddy. So if I was like, hey, my buddy back home in Kentucky, you should try, I don't know, Metroid Prime Remastered. I'm gonna send it to you. Give it a try. Like, you just can't do that. You have to be physically in the room with them, and it's just like, ah, bummer. I was hoping that was going to be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more extensive, a little bit bigger, and it's just not, unfortunately. What has been kind of a nice surprise recently, though, has been the Nintendo Today application. I've been using that every once in a while. In the morning when I get up and have my breakfast, it's kind of nice to sit there and have a coffee and just kind of scroll through the Nintendo Today app and see what's new. Um, I haven't seen anything really groundbreaking yet where it's like, ooh, that's a big announcement. But so far, it's just kind of nice to get like 360 views of the controllers and, you know, other things like that. It's a cute little app. I do hope they kind of expand it a little bit going forward. It still does feel kind of limited, but so far so good. You know, it's part of that lifestyle program that they're doing, which seems to be working for them. I've been enjoying it. I actually still do use my Alarmo every day, which is kind of nice. I kind of like it because, you know, with like a normal clock radio or with even on your phone, the alarm goes off. You've got to grab the phone. You got to hit the right button and shut it off. And then sometimes if you hit it, it just snoozes, right? It just like, so you'll get up, you'll be walking around, and it'll go off again. You're like, why is it going off again? The Alarmo's kind of nice because you can just get your ass out of bed and just walk around and you don't got to do anything. Like once you're out of bed, you're done. The thing's not going to go off anymore. You just kind of get up and just start going and just forget about it. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like that idea. I do hope some more sounds come out. I'm waiting on those Animal Crossing sounds. Something a little bit calmer, not as crazy. I'm using the Mario Kart 1. I was using the Pikmin for the longest time, but I don't know. Here's hoping. I'm excited to get my Switch too. I hope they don't cancel that pre-order. Knock on wood. Hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully you all were able to snag a pre-order, and if not a pre-order, then hopefully you'll be able to snag one in or around the launch window. But you guys take care of yourselves out there. Have a good one.